Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Psycho Gold and this is Psycho Gold Videos. Today it is the day of slime. No, not what you wanted? Okay, fine, it's Monday night slime time! That's what you all wanted to hear, right? Yes folks, it's finally time to catch up with the latest adventures of Rimuru, and in the last episode he met up with the Ogres and kind of left it on a semi-cliffhanger where he was thinking, oh great, more monsters that I have to name. So I'm wondering if this episode is going to start with him having named the monsters, or maybe he won't have, but he'll think about doing it in this episode. Either way, I don't know. At this point, I don't think Slime needs me to recap it. I think pretty much everybody is watching that time I got reincarnated as a slime, so let's just jump right into it and see what this week's episode has in store for us. 3, 2, 1, go! Episode 10, The Orc Lord. Oh yeah, we saw that that something was going to happen with that orc, didn't we, in one of the previous episodes? Oh, he's finally going to get to eat food, so he can finally see what he's missing at long last. Well, it's a good thing really that the food in this world is still good. Otherwise, it probably would have been better off to still not have taste. Oh. The Ogre Lord and the Goblin Lord are having a discussion. Oh, okay, so orcs aren't considered that strong? But still, they come. They carried weapons and war armor. Oh, so someone had outfitted them with good equipment and combined that with overwhelming numbers. Yeah, that sounds about right for orcs. Oh, what the? A masked Majin. Oh. So that's what they thought Rimuru was originally, right? That mask looked nothing like the one Rimuru was wearing, though. It looked like a clown face. I like the fact that the Ogre's village looked like a Japanese, like, traditional, how the West would think of a Japanese village, like with samurai, the sliding doors. The whole thing felt very Japanese. Which I realize this show is Japanese, but as they're in a fantasy world, a lot of the other huts and buildings have seemed more like traditional caveman huts, and obviously the Dwarven Kingdom was very Eastern. Sorry, Western. What, only 7 of them? I'll take his silence as a no. Yeah, exactly. He's trying to fulfill his role as a leader, but he doesn't actually have a clue. All I can pay you is food, shelter, clothing, base, place to live, things to do. Would any of that interest you? So they'll need to work together. Like I said, he's forming that big strong alliance. He knows it's a good idea, but he's the leader, and he knows that becoming somebody else's subordinate probably isn't something that they want to do as a proud people, I'm assuming. Oh! Well, that was well worded, considering he's not particularly a fan of it. Well, I think, having the dwarves being able to make them new equipment would definitely be a big advantage for the ogres. I knew they were going to give them names. I have a funny feeling that there's more to being named than Rimuru knows. And I think she was going to tell him, but her brother wants the extra power. Oh. What the heck? How does he always end up nestled there? Oh. Wait, he did name them. So he's a Kijin now instead of an ogre. Yeah, he looks less impressive, but he's got more magicules. Oh, okay. Oh, he managed to name, or did the leader of the ogres name her? I like the fact that, yeah, I was going to say, they seem to be becoming more human now. Yeah, I was going to say, she looks less wild now. It's like they've all improved their attractiveness. Oh, wow, even he's whoa. He looks like he's decreased in age. Yeah, they all look younger and, like, slimmer. I don't know what... OMG! Oh! Hello. Meanwhile... Oh wow, there's a lot of them. Oh, who are these guys? They lizards, yeah. Maybe there is an army powerful enough to fight the orcs. Oh! The lizard men, okay. Well, this could be interesting. The orc army numbers in the thousands. 200,000?! How the hell did they count them? Oh, with magic sense and sense heat source. Okay, fair enough, you answered my question. The Orc Lord. Oh, okay. So is that what Matey that we saw in the previous episode has transformed into? Because it certainly looked like that when we saw his silhouette in the Ogre story. Numbers aren't everything. If you fight them on your home ground with your height advantage on the mountainside in the marsh, you could easily slow down their forces and pick them up from a distance. There is 100,000 more of them, but you could take a hell of a lot of them out before they get to you and engage in melee combat. Plus, obviously, I'm assuming that there are others out there that could see the danger of that and you could ally with them. Like, for example, Rimuru! What you are called makes no difference. Ouch. Clearly, he is not the favored son. I was gonna say, Gopta... I wonder if Gopta will actually surprise me and learn this interesting art. Oh, so only one is born every few hundred years. Damn. So he must be pretty powerful then. Of course, it might not be true. It might be that Matey is only pretending to be the Orc Lord and it's actually the Majin that was with him that is doing all of the work. Well, we know for a fact he is the guy that created this Orc menace because we saw that in the previous episode. Isn't his name Gelmud, like what the lizard said has named him? Yeah, it freaking was, which means that lizard can't be trusted. Oh? Ranga knew he was there before he appeared. That's interesting. Oh, that's why we'd heard the name before. Interesting. The plot thickens. I think it would do you some good to team up with the lizard men right from the word go. Maybe go and seek them out, be proactive. It is the sort of thing I could see Rimuru doing. Oh, and the fact that we're now seeing the lizardmen makes me wonder that something's going to happen. Oh, of course, it's this sort of character who thinks that just because they're another race that this other race won't stand a chance against them. Okay, I have a little bit more respect for him in that regards. Unless, of course, he now starts listening to all these guys. Oh dear, he backed himself into a corner there. I was actually about to say that it makes a change. He can have his opinions, but he still knows his father is stronger than him. But obviously not. Well, we'll see, dude. We'll see. I think you gotta do it first before you can do that. He can't even say a sentence without choking. Never mind actually doing it. Oh, okay. That's the end then. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 10. Yes, folks, we're into double digits now. OMG. That might actually be the first episode where I just feel it was okay. Not that there was anything bad about the episode. It was just, I think, after 9 episodes of hype, I feel like I'm kind of used to it now, and it's like, yeah, it was okay. No, I still enjoyed the episode. I thought seeing the Orc army sweeps across the land was really cool. Seeing them all decked out in plate mail, getting that little bit of world building that we now know that the demon officer is the same one who named one of the goblins in the village before Rimuru turned up, and it is the same person that we saw obviously save that orc, who he may or may not have turned into this orc lord, or it might just be, like I say, a ruse. Like, he looks like an orc lord, but he actually isn't, and it's the Majin that is with him that the ogre saw that is actually the one doing all the damage and making the Orc Lord look like he is the Supreme One. Or of course it's even worse than that, and he actually is an Orc Lord and he has a Margin at his side, because wow, that would actually be pretty OP to face those two and an entire horde of orcs that are actually being a well-oiled machine instead of the horde of mindless barbarians that they clearly normally are, judging from what everybody has said in this episode. I also really liked seeing a little bit more world building. We got to see another section of the Great Forest. I mean, this forest is actually pretty huge. Like that they've got this lake with the marshlands, and we've got the lizard men. And I always like the lizard people as a design in fantasy anyway, so the fact that there is a race of lizard men in this is actually really cool. And I hope that we get to see more of them as time goes on. It looks like the next episode is going to be about the sun, who is obviously the next type of evolved lizard, but we don't know what they're called. Arch lizard? I don't know. But it looked like there was some animosity between him and his father, but there also looked to be some issues between him and the woman that was stood next to his father, whether it's his bodyguard, whether it's his sister, I don't know. But either way, those two did not look like they liked each other, and I'm wondering if maybe the fact that he was like, "Is my son here?" Maybe he's not welcome in royal debates and discussions. Maybe, you know, all these other people get to be involved, but his son is only able to come in when he's summoned. He's just like a regular person. Even if he is skulking outside, he's not actually allowed to speak and take part unless he's asked, which probably has given him sort of mixed feelings about his father and the throne. And it looks like, as they've said in the end of this episode, that he very much wants to take it, but he's also not really that keen on going up against his dad and against his dad's supporters. But he's kind of had his ego boosted by his mates and by his followers who have gone out with him, and they're all like, "Yeah, of course you can do it. I mean, we're not going to help you in the slightest. We're just going to stand back and watch, but I'm sure you'll do fine if you go up against him." And, you know, for better or for worse, he is kind of believing his own hype, and whether or not it's true doesn't really matter. I also really like the idea of the Kaijin Ogres. Should I call them Kaijin? I don't really know. I'm going to call them Kaijin. I also really like the idea of them training the goblins to have some of their fighting abilities. I couldn't help but notice at the end credits, like, Gobta's in the, you know, that shot of all of them at the end, but Gobta hasn't really been involved other than that time they went to the Dwarven Kingdom, and he spent most of it unhelpful and asleep. So if he's suddenly going to become an OP character in the future, like if he's going to suddenly master the art of fighting like a Kaijin, that would be pretty impressive and amusing, and it would make his character more interesting, and I would look forward to seeing that happen. Like, some people told me that Gobta is going to become a cool character that I'll like, for better or for worse, so maybe this is how that happens. I don't know though, I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on it, but maybe he will master the art of being a Kaiji, and or at least maybe he will master the art of Japanese sword fighting, and he'll actually be able to be like the martial arts master of the goblins. That could be pretty amusing to see, especially with his size. I could see some comical animations coming out of that. Rimuru naming all of the ogres and turning them into Kaijin was obviously something that I said would happen last week, but I was a bit confused by the fact that he literally went into sleep mode straight away, but maybe they were just trying to save time and deliver their transformations in a way that would be a bit of a surprise for us, like he went to sleep for a few days again. Still thought it was a bit weird though. I also find it amusing that the girls always seem to like swoon over him, especially once they've named him. Is it like something embedded in the naming? It's like, you will have feelings for me once I've named you. Because up until that point, they didn't seem to really care either way, especially the ogres. I mean, the goblins were slightly different because obviously he was kind of coming along and saving them. But I mean, the previous episode, they've been fighting them. So I do find it amusing the way that they can get such drastic personality shifts once he becomes Lord Rimuru instead of just Rimuru. I'm very excited for next week's episodes though. I hope we get to see some interaction between the lizard men, Rimuru, the village, and all of the different characters that the village has now, because there's quite a lot of characters to juggle. And obviously we're being introduced to this new villainous lord and the orc lord, so it would be very interesting to see just what's going to happen if we're going to get a big battle between the lizard army and the orc army. if Rimuru is going to go and help, or if something's going to happen before then. Maybe Rimuru will get like an orc scouting party that he'll have to deal with, or maybe the Kaji, I can't remember how to pronounce it, sorry. Maybe they'll end up taking on some of the orcs while they're out scouting around or exploring. Either way, I think next week's episode is going to start leading into another hype confrontation. That seems to be the way that Slime does things. It seems to have a couple of episodes of exposition, and then it has like a full explosive episode of action where there is very little in the way of exposition. It's just one epic long fight scene. And I have absolutely no problems with that. That's great. It means that you get you don't have like a rushed action sequence, which I think some of the other anime we've watched have kind of suffered from. I like the way that this show spreads itself out. I mean, it's not a short show either, so it's not trying to cram everything into 13 episodes, which is also a really good thing. So we're not even halfway through this season, which is great, man, because I'm thoroughly loving it. So I hope you guys will continue to watch this with me and enjoy it just as much as I do. But I'm afraid that's all I've got time for this week, guys. As always, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave some comments down below letting me know what you thought of this episode, and if you're excited for next week's episode, as I am. If you're new around here, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Feel free to check out the playlists of the other anime that we're doing, or maybe you haven't seen all of my reactions to Slime Time, so feel free to go and check them out as well, and ring that bell to stay notified just in case YouTube is messing up, which it seems to be doing on an almost daily basis these days. Either way, guys, all that remains for me to say is, as always, I am Psycho Gold, and I will see you in my next video. Psycho Gold, out.